phrase popped into my mind whilst I was journaling this afternoon. Home is where the heart is. It's a phrase that we've all heard numerous times, but as I sat with it this afternoon, I found myself wondering whether we've actually misunderstood what it really means. Whenever I've heard that phrase before, I've always talked about it being linked to the people that we love, and home is when we are with the people that we love. But what if it's pointing us towards something much deeper? What if it's reminding us that the place we're all searching for has always been within us? The more I've reflected on it, the more I realise that home isn't simply somewhere where we live, and it's not simply with those that we love. It's actually that place within ourselves where we no longer need to pretend, perform, protect, or prove who we are. It's that place where we feel safe enough to simply be ourselves. And I think that's really what so many of us are searching for. The interesting thing is that none of us consciously choose to lose ourselves and leave ourselves. We simply learn how to survive because of things that happen in childhood or in adolescence or even later in life, and also because of energies getting triggered from past lives. And then we find ourselves in different roles. And you may see yourself in one of these roles as I'm talking, and I know that I've experienced quite a lot of them at various times in my life. So we might become the people pleaser, or the perfectionist, or the strong one, or the invisible one, or the rescuer. At the time that we find ourselves in these roles, they've helped to keep us feeling safe, more accepted, or more in control. So they've served a purpose. But over the years, those protective roles can almost become our identity, or we find ourselves identifying with them without even realising it. And what's happening is we're stopping ourselves from listening to ourselves. We've stopped listening to our intuition. We've started ignoring what feels right. We start looking outside of ourselves for approval, acceptance and reassurance. And I know that I've done this myself at various times in my life. So little by little, what we're doing is wandering away from home. This is why I see healing so differently. Healing isn't about becoming someone new. It's about remembering who you've always been, underneath all the fears, the emotional wounds, the limiting beliefs, the survival patterns that have been created and carried not just in this life but other lifetimes as well, and been triggered in this life. So as we heal all of those things, we start to recognise ourselves once more, and we find that our decisions become clearer, our boundaries are much healthier, our nervous system starts to settle as we really start to feel safe again. We stop constantly looking outside of ourselves for permission, and we begin trusting ourselves once more. To me, that's what coming home really means, because the heart knows. This also reminded me of something I often talk about. The mind and the heart communicate very differently. The mind likes certainty. It wants to analyse everything. It often speaks through fear and overthinking. Whereas the heart is different. The heart doesn't usually shout. It whispers. It nudges. It gives us that quiet sense of knowing that we can't always explain logically. The more healing we do, the quieter the outer noise becomes, making it easier to hear the wisdom of our own heart. When I look back over my own life, I can see there were many years when I'd lost touch with who I really was. I was trying to fit in. I was trying to keep everyone happy. I was trying to prove myself. If someone had asked me then whether I was following my heart, I honestly don't think I would have known what that meant, because I'd become so disconnected from it. Healing wasn't about creating a new version of me. It was about removing everything that had taken me away from myself. And looking back now, that's exactly what it feels like. It feels like coming home. So perhaps home isn't somewhere we're trying to get to. Perhaps it's somewhere we've been returning to all along. What if the peace you're looking for already exists within you? What if the confidence you're searching for isn't something you have to build from scratch, but is something that's been waiting beneath the fears you've carried? Maybe coming home isn't about travelling somewhere new. Maybe it's about finding your way back to your own heart and your true self. Because I truly believe the longest journey many of us will ever make isn't measured in miles. It's the journey from living in fear back to living from the heart, from a place of love.